Happy Sunday. Oh, good. That's good. Happy Sunday, guys. I'm Susian, life coach and motivational speaker. And on my channel, I speak about different topics, normally about the human condition, spirituality, self awareness, self development. Right. So today we're going to talk about emotional safety when you are single parenting. Single parenting and emotional safety. Okay, so firstly, shout out to all the single mothers out there. The mothers that are bringing up kids alone, doing everything, being both the mother and the father to their children, right? It takes a lot of energy and a lot of resilience to be a single parent. However, guys, emotional safety is what is compromised when you are a single parent, right? Bringing up children. Single parenting is an act of strength, of love, and resilience. At the same time, carrying the full emotional, financial, and practical responsibilities for those children, of raising those children largely on your own, can place enormous demands on your nervous system. And we all know that without a balanced nervous system, we don't live a healthy life. We can't enjoy this life and make great decisions when we're living in stress and trauma. Now, being a single parent or parents in general is a loving expression. It's an act of strength, of love, and resilience. At the same time, carrying all that financial, emotional, and practical responsibilities, right, of raising those children are largely on your own can place a huge burden, right, on your nervous system. Too much pressure. When stress becomes constant, constantly having stress, and there's a few opportunities for assistance and help and rest, because if you're a single parent, you don't have another partner to take over the responsibilities when you need to rest. You have nobody to talk to and make decisions with, because you are a single parent and life must go on. Okay, when a relationship breaks up, you and your partner split, go your own ways, maybe even divorce. Life still goes on. The children still need to be taken care of. Okay. Now, in most cases, the man disappears, the male partner disappears and lives his life and gets married to somebody else and raises his children with his new wife and neglecting the children he had initially with his first partner. Okay, now that's a common situation happens in our reality. What is emotional safety? Firstly, emotional safety is the feeling that you are secure enough, you enough to express your thoughts as well, your emotions, needs without fear or rejection. Right. Sorry, I'm just reading from my notes here. Right. So it's very important to know that emotional safety is something that every human being needs at all times. So when you are a single parent, right, you are responsible solely and fully for these children's well-being. But who's taking care of you? You don't have time and energy to focus on self. Because the first thing you do in the morning, you're rushing, you're making breakfast for the children, you're making sure the children are getting ready for school, you're making sure that everything is in order. You understand? If they have sports activities, you're rushing for that as well. You're planning continuously, and if you can't afford a helper, a childminder, or assistance of any sort, it becomes even worse. And we all know that a lot of people that end up single parenting or people that are living below the breadline, people that don't have enough cash. Females don't even have enough cash, because in most cases, in a divorce or splits up, the man goes his own way, and sometimes, in most cases, I can say that the man will not support his partner, his ex-partner, the mother of his children, financially, because for different reasons. Sometimes there was conflicts, they were fighting, it wasn't an easy breakup, and maybe he feels that why should he take responsibility of her if he's not living with her, not understanding that the divorce or the splits up doesn't cancel the fact that he has kids with his partner. Right, now let's continue. For many single parents, emotional safety can feel difficult to achieve because life often requires staying alert continuously, right? And the next responsibility or unexpected crises, you understand? Because you don't know what's going to happen in life. Things happen and life happens, and sometimes you get challenges. So as a single parent, it's a lot of pressure on you right now. How single parenting can contribute to chronic stress? How can single parenting contribute to chronic stress? Single parents may experience ongoing stress from, for example, carrying the financial responsibility alone. That's the huge part of the stress, the financial responsibility alone, making important decisions without another adult to share the burden. Now you have all these responsibilities on your own that you need to deal with and cope with, right? Balancing your work, your parenting, and your household responsibilities as well. Remember, you don't have a partner that you can say, well, today you're going to drop off the kids and I'll pick them up after school. You understand? You don't have that option and that luxury. So you have to deal with everything on your own. As I said, again, at the beginning of my life, I said, shout out to all single parents, especially women that are bringing up their children alone. Even we're not doing so these days. However, it's more common for a woman to be a single parent, taking care of the kids. So shout out to all those wonderful, strong women. Okay. But what you need to understand, your emotional well-being is so important because these children are depending on you as a parent to be balanced. For them to be balanced, you need to be balanced. But in the time where you're carrying the full financial responsibilities alone, you don't have another person to help you making decisions, right, in the household. Everything is left on you. Then you're also balancing your work, your parenting, and your household responsibilities. Okay? You're feeling isolated, you're lacking emotional support, you have emotional burnout, worrying about the future of the children's well-being, their future well-being, like what's going to happen in the future. Are they going to go to university? How are they going to live if something happens to me as a single parent? Okay, having very little rest time and time to be alone to collaborate and with your life and calm down and stabilize your nervous system because you're constantly in alert. All the children picked up. You at work, you're stressing. You stress at work, you go home, you're continuously stressing. As a single parent, you're continuously stressing. The stress never ends and becomes chronic. So while these experiences do not automatically cause trauma, prolonged stress without adequate support can be overwhelming to the human body, right? And you cannot cope. And the systems that there are there to help us cope will fail because it's constant stress as a single parent, worrying about the children. And if you have children that are problematic at school, they are not disciplined at school, then they misbehaving because the children can also pick up that there's something wrong. Mom is continuously tired, always exhausted. Where's dad? Things like that because children ask these things. They're wondering like, where's dad? And why is mom stressing so much? She comes home, she's tired, she's exhausted, she must prepare our meals, she must prepare our lunches for tomorrow. She's constantly on the go. So for some reason, women are seen to be superhuman, but we're not. Right? So being a single parent is very, very exhausting because you don't have another partner to help you. Okay, you've got your own life issues you're dealing with, your own stresses, your own issues. Maybe if your health is declining, you understand you have your own health issues. There's a lot of things that we need to consider as people and as parents. There's medical care for the kids, there's dental care, which is very expensive as well. There's food is very expensive. There's education is really expensive. There's clothing, there's electricity and power that we need to pay for as parents. So it's kind of a very, very sad situation when a man does not take care of his children, even if he's not with his partner anymore. I just don't understand why men don't see this thing very clearly, right? There's two of us and we're making these children. And when it's time to bring them up, then you disappear. And this happens everywhere in the world. I mean, in every culture, in every group or tribe, this is happening now. It's such a pandemic. It's a pandemic where men just walk away from their responsibilities and go and live their lives like they don't have any responsibilities. You understand? And the single parenting is causing a lot of trauma and pressure on women these days. Okay, now a woman is not able to be more feminine now because she has to be on the go and excellent continuously being like a man. You understand? She's not allowed to just do the nurturing because she's doing both nurturing and also providing. She's a provider and a nurturer. Now, what it happens, it imbalances the person's system. Your nervous system goes unbalanced. Okay, it becomes very unbalanced. Right? Let's continue. Single parenting becomes traumatic when ongoing emotional abuse or conflict before or after separation. It's another thing, okay? Maybe the relationship with the father was not a healthy one, there was a toxic one, there was conflict continuously, and then they decide to separate. Then the conflict continues even after separation, and then the man or the partner doesn't want to take part in bringing up the children. He feels that he needs to punish her, not understanding that he's also punishing his own children. Because if the mother is not balanced and not healthy, the children will not be balanced and not healthy themselves. Okay, so domestic violence can also as well have caused problems as well. So some women opt to be single parents because of domestic violence, because it's more healthier for them to be without the partner because of domestic violence and a lot of abuse and emotional abuse that's happening. So she decides, well, I'm taking my kids and I'm going. You go your way, I'll go my way. However, he still needs to take part in the parenting, but then he doesn't want to do that because he has a conflict with the mother. So to punish the mother, he ends up punishing the children by being an absent father. Okay, now this is a pandemic. We all know it's a pandemic in all cultures, across all continents, basically, right? Very few men step up and take care of their children even after a separation. Very few men come in and say, okay, let me assist. I will do this. I will help you drop off the children. Maybe I'll pick them up as well. I will do the grocery shopping for you once a week or whatever. Very few men actually want to partake in their children's well-being, right? Because somehow they feel aggrieved because their partner left them or because it didn't work out. So let's like for example, let's say you don't divorce the children. The children will always be yours, and that responsibility will always be yours. Now, remember, a mother cannot deny her children unless there's something wrong with her mentally. Maybe she's unstable or something, but a mother will not deny her children, but a man will deny his children. He will deny his children, but a woman won't do that in most cases unless she's mentally sick or mentally unstable. Right now, sometimes they separate because they're feeling trapped in the system of being with this person, repeating experience of fear and uncertainty or instability being with this person. So you decide, well, we're gonna split up. You go your way, I go my own way, right? So now remember, if she suffered stress and anxiety while she was in the relationship, okay, she will still feel the effects of the stress and anxiety unless she goes for therapy. And most people, most single parents can't afford therapy as well. Hello, sweetie pies. Thank you for joining my live. Is it Stock and Almighty? I'm Cecile, life coach and motivational speaker. And today we're talking about parenting and mental health, single parenting and mental health right now. Women in society, in the world, are the most important parts of society because women bring in children, women are the mothers, women are making sure that the human lineage continues. Okay, we have children, and these children, we take care of them. Okay, so women are very important parts of society. Unless the woman has a mental problem, then she rejects her own offspring, right? But in most cases, she will not do that right now. Signs of your nervous system may be living in survival mode. Okay, that's another word, survival mode. A single parent is living in survival mode because she's just working on surviving each day. You understand, financially, she's trying to just hold on. each day. Emotionally, she's just trying to hold on each day because it's too much stress. She's got to take care of the children. She's got work as well. She got employment where she's working. She can't afford not to leave a job. So women are really powerful beings because we can handle all these stresses. However, it's affecting our nervous systems as well. Okay, let's continue. Constant anxiety and worry, right, can cause you to live in survival mode, feeling overwhelmed by ever never ending tasks, instability, or emotional outburst. Okay, now why am I always? She's always kind of touchy. She's always having emotional outbursts because her nervous system is in survival mode. Difficulty sleeping and relaxing, calming down. She can't find time. So she has a problem when it's time to sleep. She's constantly thinking continuously. She's always fired up and wired up. Okay. So she cannot sleep and relax. Feeling emotionally numb or disconnected. That can also happen, emotionally numb or disconnected. Always expecting something to go wrong, living in survival. You're all expecting something to go wrong because things keep on happening and you're the only one that needs to not drop the ball. You constantly need to be on alert all the time, right? Difficulty trusting others or asking for help because you've been rejected so many times and you don't want to be seen as a bad mother in most cases. Then you find it difficult to ask people to help and to trust other people. You find it difficult. Feeling guilty whenever you rest, right? I cannot rest because I got so much to do. My children are banking on me, they're counting on me, so I feel guilty if I'm on rest. Okay, they are understandable responses to prolonged stress. All these that I mentioned are all responses to prolonged stress, like anxiety and worry, feeling overwhelmed by every task. Because you're exhausted, you're tired, you got your own work, you got your own life. You have no time for yourself. You got no time to take care of your own needs because you're constantly getting kids to school, constantly preparing food, their school, their homework, have they done their homework, their sports activities, or they attending their sports activities. It can go on and on. The list can go on depending on the child's activities as well. Okay. And affordability as well, because some parents can afford more than others cannot afford as much as other parents. Okay. So healing begins with emotional safety. Healing begins with emotional safety. What does that mean? Healing does not require a perfect life, okay? It does not require a perfect life. It begins by helping your nervous system experience moments of safety and connection. You build emotional safety by number one, practicing slow, steadily breathing when you feeling overwhelmed to calm your anxiety, right? Create simple daily routines that provide peace and calmness in your life, okay? Speaking to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. Okay, I'm a bad mother because I was late when I pick up the children today because I couldn't leave work early, so the traffic was too much and all those things. I must be a bad mother. These are the things that can be said to yourself as a parent because you just think that you need to be perfect and there's no perfection right in this life experience. So what else? Building relationships with people who are trustworthy and supportive, maybe your ex-partner's sister or even the grandmother of the children. If you can have that support to help you as well, right? Allowing yourself to rest um without believing you must always be productive. Okay, so that's another thing as well. Because sometimes if you grew up in a home where you were told that you have to be busy doing something all the time and being productive, or else that if you're not busy, then you are lazy, you're not fruitful and stuff like that, right? So depending on how you were brought up, right? But automatically when you are single parent, you tend to be always wired up. Okay, all the children's lunches packed. Did I do all these things? Have I done that? Have I done that? You know, you're always constantly looking at what you have done and what you have not done, because you are constantly wired up. You need to bring up these children, take care of their every need. Okay. Okay. So we have a message of hope here to parents or single parents. Many single parents spend years in survival mode because they are doing everything they can to protect and provide for their children. Protect and provide for their children. Remember that she doesn't have a partner to help her protect and provide for the children if she's a single parent. Okay. Very important to know that, right? Being a single parent, sometimes it can be a choice. Sometimes it's not really a choice. Sometimes it's circumstances that you find yourself in because you have no control over life, right? You have no control of your life. You may choose a wrong partner who's abusive, and that partner is not a good person to live a life with and bring up those children, so you decide to leave him. You decide to split up and be a single parent. But it's not normally the first option for a woman. Okay, I want to be a single parent. It's like a dream I have of being a single parent. No, sometimes it just happens. You know what I mean? You meet the wrong person, you have beautiful children, things don't work out in the relationship, you're split up, right? Or sometimes you fall pregnant out of wedlock and this person leaves you and goes. So now you got to take care of the child alone. In most cases, he's not going to be partaking in bringing up those children, right? So maybe he's not capable of the responsibility as well. Just because you can make children doesn't make you a parent. Just because you can conceive a child doesn't make you a parent, right? So in most cases, men always have the option to walk away, and women don't have that option because we have that connection with the kids that we bring into this world, right? We have that connection. You see, we have that connection with the kids. That's why we cannot like neglect our children. That's why there's more single female parents and single male parents. The ratio is definitely not the same. It's imbalanced. There's more single female parents than there are single male parents. Because in most cases, a woman, if she's mentally sound, right, she's able to take care of her children. She will try the hardest, even if she means she needs to scrub the floors or wash clothes or whatever for other people. But she will do it because she has that connection with her children, that deep connection. Now, being a father is a bit different, right? But then again, there is always a choice of you being a more responsible father and man and take care of your children, right? But really, emotionally, it really destabilizes a woman's nervous system when she is taking care of the children alone without the assistance from a partner, right? So with time and support and intentional practice that promote emotional safety, it's possible to move from constant vigilance to greater calmer, right? And from reacting out of fear to responding with intention. Now, I love that word intention because when we're living in this life experience, living with the intention is so important, right? When you in stress continuously and your nervous system is not balanced, you cannot live with the intention because you're constantly in fear. You're in survival mode. Now, this is also a pandemic globally as well, where people's nervous systems are not stable despite being a single parent. Even if you're not a single parent, life itself can also destabilize your nervous system by all the stress and trauma of life, right? So the nervous system being healthy and balanced is very important, and I always talk about that, right? So now I'm going to go back and talking to the general concepts about a healthy nervous system. A healthy nervous system is for every single person, not only women who are single parents, but single parenting does imbalance your nervous system, especially if you don't have support, outside support, maybe from the guy, your ex's family, even your own family. If you don't have that support, it becomes a problem. So the best thing for a single parent to do is find that support and don't try and be a superwoman. Try and balance it out and speak to your kids and explain the situation to them. And then also ask them to do some to help around the house to make your life and y'all's life better and more stable if they partake as well. Don't um, be a single parent that wants to be a superhuman. You understand? Because it's affecting your nervous system. If you're male or female, and you are single parenting at this time, let your children, if they're old enough, to partake, like washing dishes and cleaning the house and making up the beds and stuff like that. That kind of thing. Teach your children the responsibility very early, because it will help them in a long run to learn about responsibilities and on how to care for a house and for themselves as well. You understand? So these are the things that we need to also consider, because children are growing and at a certain age they can help their parents around the home. Doing the gardening, cleaning the yard, cleaning the house, sweeping out, mopping the place, that kind of thing. So you make arrangements with your children, right? This is how my mom did it, because she was a single parent, right? By the age of 12, I was really learning to cook in my home, because my mom was a single parent and I needed to help carry the load. So yes, and even my brothers learns how to cook as well. So these are the cook and clean and maintain the house. These are the things you can do as a single parent. As your children get older, learn and teach them about responsibility. Like timekeeping, after school, come home straight away. Don't delay and play and waste time on the road. Come home straight away. At a certain age, you can even learn how to wash your school socks, wash your uniform and stuff like that, if your children are wearing uniform. So these are the type of things that single parent can teach your child, so the children can be more stable and understand that in this life there is something called responsibility. And your clothing that you wear should be clean, your uniform should be clean, your hair should be clean and well taken care of. These are the things that we as parents can teach our children. And as a single parent, you have the platform of teaching your children responsibility, so that your nervous system can be more calm and you can have shared the responsibility. Thank you, sweetie pies. Thank you for joining my live. I'm Sissy, life coach and motivational speaker. I'm based in South Africa. I'm South African, right? So if you are new here to my channel and you are interested, right, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. My channel is about spirituality, self-awareness, self understanding yourself. What else? I can talk about spirituality. I speak about spiritual concepts here as well, about different religions, exploring practices and belief systems of the humankind, you know what I mean? Spirituality, religion, all our beliefs. Yeah, we discuss these type of topics, but also the well-being of being human, your nervous system, the parts of us which are very important. Your nervous system is so important. It's important for you to understand yourself on a physical level and also psychological level, because it's all about know thyself. If you don't understand the human condition, you cannot know thyself. You won't understand why people behave a certain way, why people choose certain things in life. You understand, especially why you yourself, why you behave in a certain way, and why you choose certain things in your life as well. You understand? It's all about understanding that this is a human experience. Life is a human experience, right? It's spirits having a human experience, basically, right? So back to the nervous system, right? Now, parenting. I was speaking today about parenting and the nervous system. Okay, having a balanced nervous system. When you're a single parent, it's so challenging, especially if you don't have any support. I spoke about that. I spoke about how a single parent needs support from family, from friends to help her, maybe from the father's side and also from her side. If they have separated, obviously that's why she's a single parent. It doesn't mean that she needs to cut all ties with his family. Maybe his family can also help her bringing up the children, you know what I mean? Like picking up from school, maybe minding during time and she needs to go on dates and live a life, because being a single parent doesn't mean that you're dead, that you have to neglect yourself. It just means you need to balance things out, right? That's what it means, to balance things out, but ask for help all the time, right? So there's still hope. It's not like the end of the world. However, your nervous system can only be balanced when you find peace and calm. Your nervous system can only begin to be balanced when you find peace and calm and release the stress and and delegate the responsibility, so you're able to find peace and calm. All right. Now this is comes for every single human being. If you are not even a parent, if maybe you're students and you're studying, right, and it's stressful for you, learn about meditation, calming yourself, do yoga, stretches, moving the body, moving the energy around your body and stuff is very important. Having rest, eating well, it also helps your nervous system to also to move from survival mode to calmness. Remember that life itself can put us in survival mode, basically, because life is stressful. Then we can go into survival mode if you constantly living in fear and you of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What I'm going to eat if you're having a financial situation whereby you have no income. What I'm going to eat, how I'm going to pay my rent. How I'm going to take care of myself can also put you into survival mode. Now it's double when you are a parent, a single parent responsible for one or two or three children. Now imagine how much more severe it is when you're not only worrying about yourself, you're worrying about other souls, other beings. You understand? That's why I'm saying it's double stress for single parenting. When we as ordinary people without even marriage, maybe you just university, your parents are financing, but they don't have enough money for maybe paying your board where you're living. You have to have a part-time job to pay so you can live and have a place to stay. You understand? And they can also put you into stress because there's studies. You need to keep up with your studies. You need to keep up with your hours at the where you're working. Maybe you're a dishwasher. Maybe you are working in a restaurant and stuff like that, cleaning or maybe serving in restaurants just for you to make money. That can put you in survival mode. Wherever there's stress and strife and struggling, it puts you into a survival mode. Now, as I said, it's double when you are a parent because you're not only worrying about yourself, you're worrying about these little beings that are depending on you. You see what I'm trying to say? But stress is a universal thing and we all suffer from it because we all have challenges and difficulties in life that we need to focus on and deal with, right? So if you're constantly in stress and you're not getting a relief, it affects your nervous system, right? And you constantly kind of been you are stressed out because your nervous system is not calm, and then you have triggers. Any small thing may trigger you. You understand? Anything will may trigger you because you're constantly afraid. You're afraid you had stress now being a single parent myself, right? I was a single parent before I got married. And those years of being a single parent were very, very stressful for me. And then I found out how the stress had affected my whole life. The way I ate my food, the way I acted, the way I treated myself, the way I was in generally because I was always stressed taking care of two kids on my own in a house, paying car payments, paying bond payments for the house alone. Right? That was very, very difficult. And I could see how it affected everything about myself. The energy that I was in was low frequency. I was in a space of desperation. You understand? When you in low frequency, you tend to attract similar situations, people, and in circumstances because your frequency is so low. You end up attracting the wrong boyfriends, the wrong partners, the wrong lovers because your frequency is so low. You in survival mode, right? They normally say that you attract what you are, not what you want. So you're wanting peace, but you're not at peace because your nervous system is unbalanced. You're living in survival, but you're wanting peace. So you're dating, you end up picking anything and wanting peace and thinking that you'll find peace, but you're not going to find peace because you're not peace. You're never at peace. Your nervous system is unbalanced. Do you understand? And then you find, like for example, even in single parents when they date, they end up attracting the wrong people because they're not at peace. Your nervous system is not at peace and they're attracting all the wrong type of partners, people that are violent, people that are not totally there, people that have a problem with commitment. You understand? Because your vibration is sending out signals to the wrong type of people because you are in survival mode after all. But when you calm down, that's what I noticed, right? When I calmed down and I started relaxing, and loving myself and nurturing myself more and giving myself more peace and not blaming myself for what happened in my life and how my life turned out, when I started saying, well, you know what? I need to make peace with my situation. I need to make peace with my life, right? There's no one to blame. You know, something in most cases you blame yourself for making the wrong decisions, and you with the wrong people, and you had children with the wrong man and stuff like that. You start blaming yourself, and that doesn't help your nervous system. Instead, it adds to the survival mode. You understand? It adds to that low frequency. You end up attracting wrong people. That's why it's important to know that your nervous system needs to be calm, balanced, and you need to live with intention, and don't be pushed and driven by life itself. You need to be able to control life. How you control life is controlling your own nervous system and your own mind. That's how you control life, right? When you are calm and you in control and you're living with intention, and you're calm and you're intentional, and you think before you respond or react, rather react, excuse me, excuse me. When you think before you react, you're able to be more calmer. You're able to be more calmer. Excuse me. So your nervous system is so important. A balanced nervous system means I'm in control. Life is not just happening to me, I'm partaking in life. That's what it means. Life is not just happening to me, I'm partaking in life. I'm here and I'm present. I know what I want and I know what I need. Okay? But when you're living in survival, you can't think straight. Excuse me. You can't think straight when you're living in survival. Oh, my throat chakra. You can't think straight when you're living in survival. That's why it's important to also assess yourself. May you be a student, may you be a career person, an artist, a sports person, whatever you're doing in your life, you need to understand your nervous system needs to be calm. And why are things, toxic people coming into your life, and how do you respond to these people? And why are you even attracting these people? Remember that when you live in survival mode and your nervous system is so unbalanced and you live in anxiety, right? You tend to also attract toxic people into your life. As I said, you attract who you are because you're not balanced. So it's important to consider your mental health and your nervous system health. Your nervous system is a very important part of being human, okay? There's different parts of it, connected to the brain, connected to the heart, but connected to a lot of other things as well, right? Which I won't talk about today. If you want to know more about the nervous system, go do your research, and you can see how you are operating according to the state of your nervous system. All right, you operate according to the state of your nervous system. So if you are single parents and you're bringing up children and your nervous system is unbalanced, right? So how can you be a balanced parent? How can you be a healthy parent? How can you, excuse me, how can you bring up these children in a healthy way when you're not balanced? Okay, that's why it's very important. So even if you are having a hard time, you have no support, at least then speak to somebody, a pastor, a therapist, or somebody to help you so you can speak to them and express all your difficulties that you are actually experiencing as a parent or a single parent, may you be male or female. Even if you're not a parent and you're having a problem in your life and your nervous system is all over the place and you're constantly in survival mode, you're constantly attracting toxic people and toxic situations in your life. Remember that you are the center of your whole experience, right? The whole experience that you're experiencing is all centered around you, how you are. So this is taking responsibility. And in my channel, I speak about taking responsibility, okay, of your life experience. It's not about blaming other people, circumstances, or situations you find yourself in. Remember that you pulled in that situation, you walked into that situation, you chose that person that you're now complaining about. You understand? So these are the things that we need to understand as well. Self-awareness is taking responsibility, right? And big parts of you is your nervous system. Your nervous system will dictate how you respond or how you what react to things that are now playing out in your field, in your reality. That's why it's very important to understand how the nervous system works and what are your weaknesses as well and your strengths as a person. Your weaknesses and your strengths, and how can build on to your strengths and heal your weaknesses. Okay, so we're healing our weaknesses and we're building on to our strengths as human beings, and your nervous system is a very important part of it, because your nervous system dictates how you respond or react to life, how you show up in life. That's how important the nervous system is. It dictates how you show up in life. Maybe you were brought up in a home where there was abuse, and maybe you were in a relationship when you're older that there was abuse, and it's kind of affected everything in your life. It affected your whole self because you haven't healed from the trauma of the dear abuse. Now, as adults, we have a chance to heal from the traumas that we went through in life, but it's taking ownership. Okay, ownership. The role I played. What can I do better? How can I heal from the situation? You understand? It's always taking accountability and ownership. Now, nervous system health is so important. It's linked to moving your body, exercise, stretching, and all those things. It's linked to meditation, calmness, and breathing, deep breathing, breath work. It's connected to eating healthy food, because food, you consume it, it affects your body and it also affects your mind. The food we eat, right? It's chemistry. It triggers a chemical reaction in our bodies and our minds. So food is so important to mental health as well. There's a direct link to food and mental health. Okay. And then, yeah, so these are things you need to consider. Okay. These are things you need to consider. The pillars of health, and food is one of the major parts of a healthy being. Movement and exercise, your own personal spiritual practices as well can also help you as well, help with your mental stability as well. Your physical practices like movement and exercise, you know what I mean, going out, just walking or even jogging, whatever you love to do. But we don't have to stress the body much, because the more we stress the body, we stress the nervous system. Okay, that's what I say, like walking, light walking, meditation, yoga, stretching your body. I'm trying to say, that kind of thing that calms the nervous system. But if you're gonna go do aerobics, strong aerobics, you're stressing your body. Now you're causing to stress your body, like um, marathon running can also stress the body. The body doesn't need too much stress. And remember, every person is different. Some people's bodies can cope and handle a lot of stress, like marathon running, or couples of heavy exercise, of aerobic exercises, continuously, stressing the body. Not every single person's body will respond the same. Okay. So these things you need to understand, because I normally say, like, okay, you need to go and um, it's good to run. Not for every single person, depending. Not every single person's body can handle long distance running or sprinting or whatever, because we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, right? So there's not one form of exercise that's uniform and everybody should be doing it. Okay. So people need to find their own sweet spot, what works for them and what works for their body. So you prefer maybe yoga, Pilates, stretching, light walking. Maybe you prefer swimming. Maybe you prefer rowing and stuff like that. Maybe you prefer tennis, playing tennis. Yeah, as long as your body's moving, very important, right? Yeah, very important for the nervous system, the body and nervous system. Okay, so the nervous system is part of the body, part of of the neuro system, the brain body system, basically, right? So the nervous system needs to be balanced out where you can feel safe in your body and safe in life. Then you can become a better person and show up in life as a better person and respond to different things in life in a better way because you are a balanced person, right? But single parenting is the most stressful experience, especially when you don't have any support, right? So for all those single parents out there, right, send you light and love because you need all the encouragement, but don't be a superhero and don't try and think like you're not human. Look for support where you can find support because you need it. Taking care of a kid, 2 children, 3 children, 1 child, even 4 children, whatever you're taking care of, it takes a lot of stress, especially if you don't have any support, financial support, psychological support, social support. You need all those things as a parent, a single parent. If the guy is not there, the partner is not there, if the female is not there and you're a guy and you're taking care of your child alone, you too, you need support because it's very, very stressful. It's stressful enough when you're alone, your life, your education, your work, your social life. It's stressful enough alone. But now when you are stressing about other people's well-being, your kids' well-being, it's double stress. That's why I'm saying that it's important for you to find that support wherever you can find it. And don't be a superhuman because that will cause a problem. You will have burnout and you'll have a mental breakdown, right? And your children are not going to gain anything from that. Instead, they're going to gain very negative consequences of witnessing their parents breaking down and burning out. So you need to be able to have that support from the church if you're religious, from your family if you have a close family or a close friend, somebody to help you. Or even the guy's family, if they are interested, the grandmothers, things like that or aunties that can help. It's very important because we are not islands. Human beings are social beings. We're meant to work in communities. It's always has been like that. It has been like that. The most stressful places in the world is where places where people don't have communities. Community can be small. Community can be big. It doesn't matter that there's no number attached to the word community. A community can be me, my husband, my mom, my children. A community can be me, my home, my whole family, my neighbors next door. Community is just, it's not connected to a number of people. It doesn't have that constraints of being rigid to only mean a number of people. No, a community is just meaning there's one or two or more people coming together to work together. Okay, basically. So we are social beings and we need their help, right? And the community helps support you, in that way that you feel you're not alone, that you're not only one going through these certain circumstances, that kind of thing. Now with social media, it's even more better. Now you can go on Facebook and you can search a single parent group, right? That kind of thing, and you have support from other single parents, and if you're living in the same area, they can speak about transport options for children going to school and stuff like that, because that's the important part. Where there's numbers, there's always balance and assistance. Okay, so that's sometimes communities are so important. Even you as a person who doesn't have any children, right? You're a single person, you're studying, university, you get yourself involved in a community there in university, maybe with people that have the same interest like as you. Maybe you're a Christian and there's a Christian group, maybe you're a sports person and there's a sports person, maybe you're a tech savvy type of person, there's a group for people that are tech savvy in university. Maybe you're a sports person, there's a groups for that as well. You see, so you're never really alone because community also helps our nervous systems to feel safe, right? It's based on the root chakra. The root chakra is a place of safety, belonging. And as human beings, as I said, we're social. So we need that community. You understand? It makes our root chakra be more firm and healthy. And a single parent without any support, so any person without any support feels alone. Your root chakra is a bit shaky. It's not stable because you're feeling alone. You're feeling you have no support. You don't belong anywhere. You don't have a foundation. But then again, there are people like myself who don't really depend on outside help, right? Because I learned how to tune within myself, right? My community is my spiritual guides as well, my helpers, divine source, divine energy within myself. Okay. Remember, because everything begins within you. If you're going to constantly seek to be fed and nourished from outside, it becomes a problem. You need to learn how to also feed and nourish yourself from inside. Okay. But then again, that balances me out personally, but certain people prefer the other way of doing it. Do you understand? So people are different. People are different. You understand? So people's needs are different. But what I do know is that we all need support. We all need support as human beings. You all need support. And especially single parents, you need that support from the community to help you with your kids. Maybe you need a sounding board. You need people to listen to your issues and maybe suggest some solutions. Okay. Maybe you're having a problem and a struggle with one of the children that you are bringing up or whatever. Or maybe you need advice for transportation or even tutoring advice for who can tutor maths or whatever it is for the children that you are bringing up. So you need that constant feedback from other people as well. It's depending on your situation, okay? But everything begins with you. For healing your nervous system, you have to be able to ground yourself, right? Ground yourself and feel safe within. Now, there's yoga practices too as well online where you can learn how to ground yourself and feel safe to calm your nervous system. If it's really chronic and you're on medication and you need to go see a specialist, but if it's just livable stress, whatever, okay, your nervous system doesn't need medication, then you now to learn how to, you need to learn how to ground yourself every day, every morning before you start your day. And in the evening, you learn how to again ground yourself and release the day and release the stress of the day. And breath work is so important as well when it comes to healing the nervous system. So, guys, as I begin to close my live, if you are new here and you haven't come to my channel before, okay, I'm Sissy and life coach and motivational speaker. And if you are interested in my type of topic, or maybe you just like look at my face, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and join my community, my growing community. I would really appreciate it if you do consider, right? I'm based in South Africa, so this channel is very African, South African, right? And South Africa is one country in part on the southern part of Africa, right? The southern parts of Africa. We're next to Zimbabwe. We have Lesotho. We have Swaziland, right? We have Namibia, Bavas, right? So if you are interested in my type of topics, right, and you like my energy, go ahead and consider subscribing to my channel. And have a great week further. It's Sunday. We're starting a new week. And happy August to all those wonderful people out there. May August bring you nothing but peace and wellness. And may you be grounded and feel loved and appreciated in the month of August. So have a great week further and a great day, guys. Bye. See you next time.